Welcome to the Inner Alchemy Podcast, a journey inward into the patterns, shadows, and truths that shape the way we love, heal, and rise. Beneath the ashes, a single ember waits, and here, together, we learn how to breathe it back into flame. Welcome to the Inner Alchemy Podcast. I'm Phoenix, and with me today is an old friend of mine, Travis. And when I got out of the Marine Corps, I started going to church in Quitman, Texas, and that's where I met Travis. At the time, I think he was like 14, and I started working with the youth group, and we ended up starting a band. Well, he joined the Army. We've been through some stuff, but overall, we've kept this relationship going for a long time, and I am honored to have him here. So, Travis, say hi.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was really cool, man. Back when I was 14, 15, and I didn't know but like 3 chords on a guitar. And I remember you teaching me a little bit of guitar. Then I started running the sound up there, and then I needed a bass player, and I was like, I could do that. I could do that. And that's where it all started, man. So, yeah, dude, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be seen.
Yeah, well, I remember back then when we started the band, and the band was called Ballad of the Once Lost, right? And we recorded like 4 original songs. It was a lot of fun. We played at a bunch of different like youth groups and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oil Festival and Old Settlers Reunion and Quitman.
Yeah. And I thought we did pretty good. And I still listen to those songs every now and then and reminisce and think that was awesome.
Yeah.
But I also look at the version of myself that I was when I recorded those songs. And I'm not saying it was bad, but like just some of the lyrics in those songs reflect the darkness that I felt I was going through at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't, I guess, see it like that at the time, but I do now. And I'm like, damn, dude, you made it through that shit. Good job.
We all did, man. We were all going through something. Like for me at that time, 14 or 15, I think my mom she's doing the best she could, but she still struggled with addiction at that point. So music and the church and you guys, that was my escape from the home life. There's a lot of like just uncertainty. I'd come home and like the electricity would be off. We had that like pay as you go power kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
And so like paycheck to paycheck, mom was like, she worked for tips mainly. She was a bartender. So when she could, she would put money on that little prepaid card, and sometimes she wouldn't make it to the electric company in time. So I'd come home from school and I'd have to like call her on a cell phone or something, or go to my friend's house and use their phone and be like, hey, Mom, there's no electricity. And like, oh, damn, I forgot.
I don't remember ever, I guess, interacting with you in a way where that was obvious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even, I guess back then you could call it, you held your shit together pretty well or whatever, but you, Lucas, and Andrew, y'all were all pretty good kids from what I could tell. And I say kids, I was only like, 23, 24, something like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, it was from a young age. I had to learn how to keep my shit together.
Yeah.
Just the events that happened and transpired in my younger life kind of put me on the path that like, I got to watch out for myself.
Yeah.
So when I found the church and you guys, that was I was able to take a mask off. I was able to like actually be myself and be loud and obnoxious, and like you guys didn't care, like you appreciated it and you appreciated me, and that was awesome. It felt good to be accepted. The times that I spent up there, Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights, like that was some of the best times in my high school.
Yeah.
You know, like all the times that we would get up on stage and we were all, I'm pretty sure, ADHD or something. Like Andrew would be just banging on the drums and we'd kind of find a rhythm and we'd start playing something random. And then in 30 seconds, all of us had a full song going. Yeah. And we meshed so well musically. And as friends, it was just awesome.
Yeah.
So
it seemed to, once we started writing a song or something, it seemed to just flow pretty quickly. And by the end of like an hour or 2 hours, we'd have the song, and then it was just practicing and perfecting it from then.
Pretty much. And what's really cool is Lucas and I are still that same way, because we've got our band still. We started a couple months ago, and we wrote one song together 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we got like you got the intro, the verse, and the chorus down that night. And he went home and wrote some more lyrics to it. And the next following week, we pretty much nailed it.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, so that's still there. And I'm glad that I never lost that. So it just looks different because I'm not on bass anymore.
Yeah.
I'm playing a guitar now, which is kind of terrifying because I'm not a lead player. And Lucas is like, hey, man, do this lead part for me. And I'm like, Yeah, I'll do it.
If I remember, you were never really a bass player. Like you wanted to be the guitar player, but we already had 2 guitars. So it was like, all right, Travis, play bass. And you're like, oh, okay, fuck it. I'll learn it.
Yeah, fuck it. And I loved the bass, man. I loved it because I could do not solos, but I could play around on the fretboard without as much, without as many strings.
Yeah. Right. Less strings.
Yeah.
I always found
easier
bass to be easier to play than guitar was anyway, unless you like get into like slap bass and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I tried once or twice and I was like, this doesn't sound right. I'm going to stop trying this.
So let's talk about the journey that brought you from, and you can talk about before 14 or whatever if you want to, but what got you to today? Like what have you learned along the way? What are you still learning? What do you want to learn?
Everything, man. So growing up, life was pretty awesome as far as I can remember until I was about 5. I had my grandfather. He was unfortunately murdered by my mom's ex-husband. And it was like 3 or 4 days before my 5th birthday.
Wow.
So
was your grandfather like an important person in your life?
The most important, because my dad was never around. Like my dad kind of said, "Oh, he's not mine," and like we looked the same. Like, come on, man, like come on.
Yeah.
But he was never really around. My mom brought me home from the hospital. He and his friends were like passed out drunk from a party the night before.
Yeah.
At least that's what she tells me. I'm sure he's got a different story.
Yeah.
But my grandfather was the dominant male figure in my life until he passed away. And unfortunately, being that age, you don't really remember him. Like I still feel his presence when I think about those times, but I can't picture any memories.
Right.
So that happened when I was 5, and that's sort of when, looking back, that's when my behavior changed, and I could tell that I was troubled. I didn't know then. I was just trying to be a kid who missed his grandpa.
Right.
But that kind of shows up in like acting out and being disrespectful and things like that. And my mom, when that happened, she kind of fell into drugs and just hard times. So there's a lot of inconsistency on like how I lived and where I lived up until about 14.
Yeah.
That's when she finally got stable. But before that, I remember staying with my cousins, my aunt and uncle, and she said it was because my grandmother was in bad health, and then come to find out she was just on a bender for like a year and some change. Like she was just living her life, being crazy.
Yeah.
This was her first time living too. That's one thing I've come to kind of terms with, is that it was her first time living too, man. So it's like she was doing what she could with what she had.
Yeah.
And that's a big pill to swallow.
Right. I think that's like the overarching concept that I have to continually think about in regarding my own parents, because in healing and doing self-work and stuff like that. And I mean, hell, half the shit you see on TikTok, Facebook, when we're talking about inner child wounds and stuff like that, blaming your parents isn't going to do shit for you.
No.
Like maybe they contributed to the wound, but like it's your wound.
Yes.
And you have to heal it, right?
Yeah, it's up to us to take care of it.
So it's like reminding myself, like as a parent myself, I know that I've always done the best I could. Even then sometimes the best I could probably didn't look that great because but it was still the best I could with what I knew, how I was, what I was going through at that time.
Yep.
All of the different things that play into that. And so it's like forgiveness of my parents, if you will, doesn't look like them saying I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It looks like me realizing and recognizing myself in them and me, and reminding myself that they too were doing the best they could with everything they had, including their own internal state or their addictions or their wounds from their childhood.
Because as a kid, you're given a toolbox, and you've got all these different influences and people in your life, mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, whatever the case is. They give you what they think is a good tool to have for whatever situation. And as you go through life, you realize that you've got a lot of tools, and you're like, how do I use all these? And then you realize that you don't need all of them. So you start cleaning out your toolbox, and that's like, that's when awakening happens.
Yeah.
And you start like, it's like you're living your life through these glasses. And every time somebody gives you a way to think, it's just adding some thickness to that glass, distorting the real image. And as you get a chance to take those glasses off for whatever that looks like. Some people, psychedelic medicine will give you a chance to kind of take those glasses off for a second and think clearly or see clearly. Some people find it in religion. Whatever the case is, But when you finally get a chance to take those glasses off and you're like, whoa, okay, I can see clear now. Well, when that feeling wears off, some of the glasses come back. No, you can't just leave them off forever. It's not a one and done situation.
Right.
Like, but what you do is you continuously update your prescription, right? And you're just trying to thin it out a little bit and trying to see as clear as possible. And
see yourself clearly too. When you're talking about our parents giving us a bunch of tools, and sometimes we have to like let go of some of the tools that they showed us. When I say showed us, I don't mean intentionally. Some of them are intentional, but some of them aren't. But like the tool of dealing with my anger by losing my shit and screaming at everybody, that one didn't work. That one didn't serve me, right? So I had to learn to let that one go.
Yeah.
And then on the glasses thing, when we're looking through the lens of our wound, right? If someone hurts me, my mind creates a narrative.
Yeah.
Right? And whether that person actually did exactly what that narrative is saying they are doing or did is a lot of times not accurate. You know, it's like, but I'm seeing through the lens of the wound, through the lens of the narrative that my mind created. And for me, healing has been learning to see it through their lens as well. And it's like seeing it through my mom or my dad and seeing like, again, they were doing the best they could. And from their lens, they thought that teaching me this thing or making me go to church or whatever it was the best thing for me.
Yeah. And a lot of that can be positive and a lot of it can be negative. Like I think of kids who are raised in like racist households or households that they dislike LGBT, whatever the case is, like those parents are putting tools in their kid's toolbox thinking that they're trying to protect them from something. Right. And I just hope that the kid realizes at an early age, like, that's not the way to be. And unfortunately, that was for me. Like my grandfather, not the one that passed away when I was 5, but after my grandmother remarried, he was a good man, but he was racist. And my mom was definitely racist. I didn't pick that up. I didn't pick that up. When my mom got into drugs, I didn't pick that up. I remember people telling me when I was young, they were like, it's amazing how you didn't turn out like your mom or dad, like you're completely different.
Yeah.
And I had this weird feeling at a young age that, well, for one, I felt like I've always had an audience, as weird as that sounds, and that I had to make sure I was the best version of myself for that audience because someone was watching. Even once I was alone as like a little kid.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand what that part was, right? But that...
Maybe it's the whole like, God's always watching or Jesus is watching. Have you seen those memes where Jesus is like, I saw that?
I love those. Those are good.
Yeah.
Those are good. But maybe, and I still don't know the reasoning behind why I felt like I had an audience as a young age, but that audience helped me make better choices that as long as I was aware that they were watching, I was making good choices.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it came from religion because growing up, I mean, I remember going to church a handful of times, but it was never forced on me.
Yeah.
So the ideology, like my grandmother was a Christian and her relationship with God was, I can have a relationship with him all by myself at the house. I don't need to go to church. And I'm like, you get it, Grandma.
Like, fuck yeah, I like that idea.
I'm like, all right, cool. But
I wonder have you ever thought about the audience being like your higher self or maybe even like the future self, right?
Yeah.
Or like the version of you that like, when we get quiet enough to hear that inner voice, right? That inner voice is like, don't do that.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Like, that's not love. That's not going to make you feel good. Sure, it might make you feel good in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're not going to feel good about it tomorrow.
Yes. And that's the voice I get when I look at a bottle of alcohol now. It's like, you don't need to do that. And I'm like, you're right. And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, but I'm
just trying to have fun, bro.
I just want to play some games with the friends.
Yeah.
But Grandma was a pretty big Christian, I guess you could call it that. She stayed at the house. So maybe there's some ideology that got passed on to me from there. But recently, I've looked into that audience.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think that it probably was my higher self because I always felt like I was destined for something greater. Like, in all the situations that I found myself in growing up, I always felt like I was destined for something bigger and better and greater, and that there's always this voice telling me like, well, you're better than this.
Yeah.
Don't let this get you down. And I think this was like my surroundings.
Yeah.
Because even after Grandpa passed away at 5 and Mom did her thing and she went on the bender and I was with my cousins, I remember coming back from my cousins and I think I was around like 10. And my mom had a new boyfriend or a husband at the time. And I remember I wasn't really allowed to go over there very often for some reason.
Yeah.
And the times that I did get to go over there, there's always something, some kind of drama.
Right.
But specifically one time, Mom just she asked if I wanted cinnamon toast. And for some reason, it wasn't clicking what cinnamon toast was. And I was trying to put it together. It's like, cinnamon toast? Like, what? It just didn't click for some reason, right?
Yeah.
She got mad at me and frustrated with me. She's like, kind of cussed me out a little bit. And I was like, that's a weird thing to get mad about. I'm just trying to get clarity on something.
Yeah.
Well, 5 minutes later, she goes outside and starts yelling and cussing at her husband. She had received a phone call earlier that day that he had cheated on her.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So she picks this fight, and she's at this point, the drugs have turned her tiny. So she is 110 pounds, 120 pounds, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
She was pretty small. And this guy was big. And especially from my perspective, because I was 10, this guy was a monster.
Yeah.
Well, they start cussing, going back and forth, and then it gets physical. And the second I see him push her, I get between them and I start pushing him. And I'm like knee high to a grasshopper, man. I had no business trying to fight this man.
Right.
And around that time, this lady came across the street from next door, and she had a bat, and she was yelling at this guy, like, you leave that baby alone, you leave her alone. And then, well, cops came, grandmother and grandpa came. There's this chest at the foot of the bed that's just full of drugs, just all the kinds of drugs.
Shit.
Like the hard stuff, like the meth, cocaine, I don't know, heroin. At this point, I'm just listing drugs.
Yeah.
Anyway, they said there was a lot of stuff.
It was a bounty of illicit substances.
It was a bounty. It was a bountiful harvest. Well, this man's was apparently a known drug dealer in the area. And, I got taken away. So I went and, Mom and that dude, they went to jail. So I had to watch that. That was traumatizing.
Right.
So my grandmother takes me to her house, so I lived there for about 2 weeks, and then my dad picks me up. So I go live with my dad. And at this point, he's doing pretty well for himself. He's got a construction company up in Dallas, Grand Prairie area. He's got a wife, got a little townhome, pool, kind of picture perfect little life there. So I finally get there, and I'm going to school in Dallas, and for the first 6 months, it was what I thought childhood should be.
Oh, wow.
We were going to the movies. I remember my stepmom, and I still have a relationship with her to this day. I call her my actual mom or second mom, or I don't remember. But I remember us sneaking candy into the movie theaters and just having fun.
Yeah.
It was awesome. She treated me like her own, which was great. Well, my father picked me up from school one day, and his truck was loaded. And he's like, all right, we're leaving. We're going to Frost.
Oh, man.
Frost, Texas was a little town outside of Corsicana. There's nothing there. There's nothing there, man.
Yeah.
And I remember visiting there at a younger age and thinking, oh, this is cool. This is cool because grandma and grandpa on that side, they were in a band. They had built a stage. It was one of those properties where you put a trailer house on it, and when that trailer house gets old and dilapidated, they just put another one in front of it.
Yeah.
And then they put another one in front of it. So there's so it looked like a trailer park. But they had a stage built out there just in the middle of the grass. They had a dance floor, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Until you lived there. Until you lived there, that was rough. So Dad picks me up and says that he's done.
Yeah.
So we get to Frost, and then he disappears, and I'm stuck living with my grandma on that side.
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't understand why, but she would make sweet tea with brown sugar and put it in jars that pickles came in. So there was this brown sugar pickle tea.
Oh, wow.
Disgusting. No, it's horrible. And I can't eat cabbage to this day because that's all she would cook, man.
Dude, I don't like cabbage anything. Raina cooks all kinds of amazing things, but I just can't do cabbage. It smells like feet.
Yeah, dude. And it was all of those weird old meals that kids would never want to taste.
Right.
That's all they had.
Dude, sauerkraut and weenies.
Yes. Dude, yes. And we were broke, man. It was bad. I remember my uncle, looking through couch cushions and floorboards of cars for 65 cents so we could ride our bicycles to get into the little town to go to this convenience store and literally just to buy a soda.
Yeah.
Just to buy a can of Coke. And it was, looking back, it was a cool, fun adventure because I was a kid.
Right.
And then there was a period where I was like, wow, that sucked, man. And now looking back, I'm like, that was a really fun experience with him, though, because my uncle was always awesome. Like, I always looked at my uncle as more of a father figure than my actual father, because he was the one there teaching me stuff, like doing stuff, because he lived with my grandmother at the time. But anyway, so for a couple months, I lived with her, and I didn't know where my dad was half the time. But he had found a new girlfriend. Just right off the bat, as soon as he got into this new town, found a girlfriend.
He sounds like me for a while.
Yeah, man. That kind of leads into post-army situation for me. Yeah. But I finally tell him one day, and I finally get the courage to tell him, like, I don't like living here. I want to come live with you, because they've got a nice single-wide trailer. Yeah. It's got AC, and, like, there's food and stuff there. Like, I want to go there, man. Yeah. I'm tired of being hungry. So he finally, I guess, has a conversation with his girlfriend, and I move in, and things are okay for...
How old were you at that time, like 10, 11?
Yeah, 10 and a half at this point. Yeah, because, it's right around 10 and a half. And I remember she didn't like me very well, and she had an older daughter at the time. I was like 16 or 17, and she hated me. And, like, I was just exposed to a lot of, like, adult stuff at that age that I probably had no business being a part of or being around. But I remember... I was going to go talk to my dad about something, and for some reason, I don't just burst into doors. I see what's on the other side of the door first before I go in. I try to see, like a safety, it's just all this other stuff that's happened in my life. Just like,
we call that a trauma response.
Yeah, like, is there a threat on the other side of this door? Like, I don't know. Let me listen for a second. Well, the door's cracked open an inch or two, and I peeked in, and I saw my stepmom with, like, foil and a lighter. I was like... I've not seen that exactly before, but I know, and there's this weird smell. So I was like, something ain't right here. So I just left. I was like, I don't want none a part of that. Yeah. And I think at the time, I'm still 10 and a half. So I go back to my room. And then I remember not knowing what to do, but knowing that I didn't want to be there anymore. So I went to my dad and I told him, I was like, I want to go live with my mom again. And at this point, it's summer break. And he's like, no, you're not leaving. Like, I think he brought up, like, he gets paid for taxes for me or something like that. And my stepmom and I had a big fight. And I think that's what brought up to me wanting to leave that conversation. And he just told me no. And then so I waited. I knew I had a plan. So I waited a week or two. And then I was like, okay, can I at least go visit my mom in this summer break? Let me go spend 2 weeks. And he's like, oh, yeah, we can do that. So that's when my master plan started. I was like, I'm not.
Like your little 10-year-old mind, like, dude, I got this shit figured out.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not coming back to this motherfucker. I'm not coming back. So I remember packing all of, like, my clothes and the few toys that I had. And I remember having to leave a lot of toys there. Like, I had a lot of Transformers. Yeah. A lot of the good ones from back in the day. Right. I miss those. Funny story, years later, I did go back to Frost to visit. Yeah. There's a Tupperware, like a big container full of my toys. Just, hell yeah. Like, so there was a porch in front of the single wide trailer. The trailer's gone, but the porch is still there. And on that porch was just a bunch of junk. And, like, in one of those boxes was some old Transformers. And I was like, and I think I left them there. Yeah. But anyway, so
it's cool when you find old shit like that, though. Yeah. And just like nostalgia.
Yeah. I just wasn't very nostalgic back then. So I probably should have kept. I probably sold them at this point. Yeah. Made some money. Those things were nice. But so, yeah, I packed my bags and we make the 2-hour drive back to, here, East Texas. And I wait 2 hours from the time he drops me off. I wait 2 hours. And I'm still like 10 and a half. I just timed it. Like, I think I got there. I think I remember. I got there like 1:30. Mom had to be at work at 4. And I waited till about 3:30 to tell her what I saw my stepmom doing. And I was like, so funny story. I'm not going back to my dad's. This isn't a visit. I'm not leaving. Yeah. And this is why. And this is what I saw. This is what I experienced the last year. And she's like, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. She gets on the phone, lights my dad up.
Now, was your mom, when you said the cops came in and, like, found the bounty of drugs, like, was your mom, like, did she go to jail at that time? Or
yeah, she went to jail for endangerment of a child because there's controlled substance or something like that.
Like, did you ever, like, see her using or anything back then, or was it just the dude that she was with?
No, I never saw them. I saw my mom smoke weed. And, weed was super bad back then, so I knew it was bad, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
years later, that changed.
The devil's lettuce.
Yeah, that changed years later.
Yeah. Man, it'll get you pregnant. You got to be careful.
Yeah. I was like, maybe mom did have a point with that. But
maybe she was trying to like do the best she could. Like,
and
I need a little cannabis to take the edge off.
Yeah. And then cannabis turned to meth, and then all kinds of other wonderful things.
Yeah.
But no, I never saw her use it. And she claims that she didn't know it was in there. That was just a box that she wasn't allowed to touch. And so I don't fully know. I do know that years later, that guy was hanged on his front porch by rival gang members. He is
wow.
no longer of this earth. He is gone.
Wow.
So that when I heard that, I was like, huh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, and that part of your story is beautiful in and of itself, right? Because like at the beginning, your mom was doing the best she could, but it got you taken away.
Yeah.
Right. And then your mom also a year later or whatever becomes the hero that takes you out of a shitty position.
Yeah. No, she definitely did. I didn't give her a choice.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not leaving.
You're like, I'm going to the New York Post with this shit if I got to.
Yeah.
But I ain't going back.
Yeah, and I will say from when I got back that time, I think she was still living with my grandmother. And I think within a few weeks or month or so, she ended up getting a new place and moved us in there. And I went to school in Hawkins for, I think it was all of like 3 days.
Yeah.
Literally 3 days.
Go Hawkins, Texas.
Yeah. And then she found another place in the Quitman School District area. And there may be some time in there that I'm missing, but either way, we find our way to Pine Mills, Quitman School District, and that's around 7th grade, because 6th grade was the grade that I spent in Frost and Dallas, and then 7th grade is when I started, I think junior high is that year, in Quitman, and then it was maybe a year after that I met you guys at the church or something, right around the 13, 14, 15-year-old time range.
Yeah.
But
so what do you think? I mean, this is slightly off topic, and we'll continue in with your story, but like, it's easy for all of us to think about the negative aspects of our childhood or what our parents did or didn't do, stuff like that. But like, from where you're sitting at today, and how old are you today?
32.
32. At 32 years old, what do you think was the greatest thing that your mom ever did for you, gave to you? And I'm not talking about physical gifts, but like, what has she done for you? What is, and whether it was intentional or not, what has she given you that at 32 years old, you're grateful for?
So I don't know if she meant to give me this, probably didn't, but somewhere along the line, I learned what discernment was, which you helped me put a term or a name or a word to the feeling there. But she gave me that ability to see right from wrong, mainly by doing wrong. But I was still able to take the lessons that she had to learn. Maybe it's the gift of observation, being able to observe my surroundings. Yeah. And that's helped me and hurt me quite a bit in life. Because I'd love to be able to just go through life blindly, not paying attention to anything else. It seems peaceful.
And I think that's what our generation, I'm barely a millennial. I'm like right on the edge of millennial and Gen X. But like my mom always said when I was a kid, like, you're going to grow up and break generational curses. In her mind, I imagine when she was saying it, she thought I was going to be like some super Christian mega pastor or something like that. Like, like spreading the good news and doing all the thing. In which I think I spread the good news, but it's not the good news that I was taught that was good news. Yeah. But like, that's what our generation is here for. It's like taking all of the lessons that our parents and our grandparents, and that's not to discredit any of the generations before us, because I think each generation has its purpose or goal or whatever you want to call it, whether it's intentional, unintentional, or aware or not aware. Yeah. But it's like our generation is looking at all of the things that our parents and grandparents did and saying, yeah, that shit's not working.
Yes.
And we're going to raise our kids differently. And we're going to love them, make sure they know that we love them and stuff like that. And sure, we have our judgments of ourselves, like, I didn't do a good enough job, or I'm not doing a good enough job. But like, ultimately, like, we are breaking generational curses. Yeah. Unfortunately, to break those generational curses, you've got to go through some trauma
to see, to have the perspective, the different perspectives on it. Like, I got to see what drugs and alcohol can do to my mother, and especially as a single mother.
Yeah.
I got to see what the good, like my grandmother, as my grandmother was always the kind that wanted the big family get Thanksgivings and holidays and all that good stuff. So I got to see a lot of different perspective growing up. My dad's perspective, and it's hard to put it into perspective until you've lived enough life to actually make sense of it all.
Right.
And that's why I understand when people are freaking out in their mid-20s about like what they're supposed to be doing. You're still supposed to be learning, man.
Yeah, well, and it's beautiful too, because with all of the drug use and you seeing that and seeing the consequences of it and stuff, like that's the beauty in I think what our generation is doing and seeing is that you could have like wrote off every substance there is out there and said, never. Yeah. I'm never going to touch drugs or anything like that, anything related to drugs, anything the government says is illegal and bad. I'm not going to do anything with it, right? And then you got on top of that, Red Ribbon Week, McGruff the Crime Dog, DARE program, like all of the things that say drugs are bad, okay? And like but our generation, like we're like, okay, yes, I see that there are some substances that will fuck your shit up and fuck your life up and can rob you of your joy. But it's not so closed off that we're not willing to do our own research. And find, and for some people, their own research is actually trying the substances themselves, which I don't recommend that. If you should know what you're doing it for, why it's there, and educate yourself on anything that you want to take into your body and have an experience. But one thing that you and I share is the interest in psychedelic medicines and plant medicines and stuff like that. And so I just want to, good job not saying fuck everything and actually being, I think that's what a lot of our world lacks, is the ability to be open-minded and open-hearted enough to entertain or learn to understand or educate themselves on something that somebody once told them was wrong or bad.
Yeah, and I kept the weed is bad mentality for a long time. I remember like being upset with my mom when I was in my teens, 16, 17, weed is bad. But at that time I was also in the church learning some of those Christian morals and what's right and wrong from their perspective. So I remember being upset with my mom a lot of times, and looking back now, I'm a little remorseful for that, because there's been plenty of times where I've got off work and I'm like, hey, love you, give me 1 second. I'd go take care of that problem and smoke some weed myself. And every time I came back, I was so much happier and like more open to play with my kids and enjoy their presence and be present in the moment. Like, too much of anything is going to take your mind away from stuff. Like,
do you ever notice like what is the difference for you with, in particular with cannabis? Like what makes it too much? Is it going from intentionally doing it for this specific reason to just doing it because you don't feel good, or because you're trying to cope with screaming kids and whatever it is?
And well, it changes. It definitely changes as your life progresses. Because when I started smoking, I didn't smoke until after I got out of the Army, and then met my buddy Brandon, and we smoked together, hung out, had an apartment together. That's a whole other story with Brandon. But at that time, I was just smoking it because, well, one, I was a veteran and I had back problems, and it eliminated my back problems. Like it made me physically feel okay enough to be human. Yeah. So that was one reason why I smoked. And then I don't think I smoked too heavy. I waited till I got off work and I'd smoke once, and I'd be kind of just chill for the night and then smoke before I go to bed kind of thing. And then when I stopped listening to my inner self is when I think that changed. Yeah. Because up until this point, I was doing a lot of things for me. Like when I got out of the military, I had plans to go to college with Brandon. And I was married at the time, but we divorced, and I had this life plan to go to college. I was going to be an MRI tech. Just do race car shit with my race car friends, like real life Fast and the Furious. And like all of that was being set up for me. And I was like, oh, this is great. And my grandfather passed away after my grandmother remarried. So yeah, he passed away.
Was this your mother's?
No, this is
father or your dad's?
This is my step grandfather.
Okay, so it wasn't the one in Frost. It was the one around here.
No, and I don't think I ever met the one in Frost.
Okay,
I think it was met my grandmother.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so when he died, I made that decision to move back to East Texas, be closer to mom and my grandmother.
Right, and
then tying into the relationship after relationship thing. I went from that marriage to essentially being married to the car scene and that group of friends there. And then as soon as I got to East Texas, I met another girl and immediately started dating her. Yeah. And she had a kid. And looking back, that kid was probably ADHD, maybe autistic. I've got a lot more experience with autism now, but I didn't have any experience back with it then. So it was difficult for me. Coming from the military, things need to be done a certain way. There's a lot of testing of patients, and I didn't know how to handle that. So I smoked to calm myself. I smoked when I got mad. I smoked to forget some of the feelings and things like that. Right. And that's when I started smoking a lot. That's when it got heavy. And then we divorced because it was just a bad situation. And then I met my third wife, literally the third wife, we were friends when I was like 15 and 16. She actually came to a few of Ballad of the Once Lost shows. Really? Yeah, she did. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So I hit her up and I was like, hey, I kind of forgot who I was. Do you remember me at all from back then? Yeah. And we started talking and then we got together and life was awesome. She had a kid who does have autism and that at that point, the last 6 years, there's definitely been a lot of learning on how to cope with a child who does have autism and how to be patient when you need to be firm when you need to be, and then how to let the shit go. And that's the hard part for me is just letting shit go sometimes.
Have you noticed that, so I know for me with alcohol, at first I started drinking just because it was fun. And honestly, up until about my 30s, drinking wasn't even attractive. I didn't understand why people did it because it tasted like shit. And every time I would drink a beer, I'd just feel bloated. Yeah. And so I didn't really start drinking a lot until then. And over 3, 4, 5 years, it went from just doing it to have fun and catch a buzz to literally avoiding my life. Yep. And being just numb and disconnected from everything because at that point, the life that I had created for myself was miserable. Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily miserable because of other people. It was miserable because of my mindset, how I looked at things, what I believed about myself. I fucking hated myself and all the things that I had done that had contributed to me hating myself. Yeah. And so with cannabis, and alcohol, you mentioned alcohol earlier too. Yeah. Where do you find, when do you, or what do you notice is the difference between smoking for pleasure or for some intentional thing that you're achieving and then just numbing out and dissociating from life?
Yeah. Well, I think if you're going to do any kind of substance, you've got to be conscious of where your headspace is. Yeah. If you're right off the bat, if you had a bad day and you think drinking's the right answer, that's already wrong. That's already wrong. So if I had a rough day at work, that's what I looked forward to. I didn't look forward to seeing the kids. I didn't look forward to going and doing car stuff. I didn't look forward to playing music. I looked forward to that next hit. Yeah. That's when I knew, I was like, that's probably a problem. Yeah. Rather than looking forward to feeling good playing with my kids or feeling good hanging out with my friends, I looked forward to just feeling what I could that was better than where I was at. Right. And that was, and now about 8+ months ago, I don't smoke anymore much. Yeah. I didn't quit. I still partake occasionally, but I'm not a daily user anymore. It's more of a social thing, how I want it to be. Yeah. I want it to be if we're all hanging out and somebody's like, hey, I got something, I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah. And what's cool now is I don't have to spend $500 a month. Wow. Yeah, I was spending $500 a month just on weed. That's nuts, dude. And it was wax too, man. It was potent. Yeah. And at a certain point, you can't not feel any less.
Right.
Like
that's what I had my own. I mean, obviously weed. When I was 17, the first time I did anything, like smoke a cigarette, drink a beer, smoke weed, have sex, like I was 17, I was very sheltered. And I mean, I think my mom scared the shit out of me when it came to a lot of things like that, because it was like, you're going to go to hell, and I don't think she ever directly said that to me, but that was like the message of like, bad things lead to going to hell because God will be mad at you. God's always watching you. And so I projected that on you earlier when I said maybe it's from religion. But like I smoked weed when my first year in college. I had a full ride scholarship for cheerleading, dude. Like, and it was a piece of cake. Like all I had to do was turn flips and freaking throw girls in the air. And I got to go to school and have dorms and everything for free. I made it a semester. And it's because I started smoking so much weed that like I stopped going to class, and I was always a really good student, straight A's, shit like that. And that was when I was like, okay, I got to do something. I lost the scholarship because I failed too many classes. And then that's when I joined the Marine Corps. But like, so like I can relate with the smoking. And then later in life, after the Marine Corps and after law enforcement, all the things I was doing, I picked it back up again for a while. And I started noticing like, oh man, like I'm smoking, but I'm not getting high. Like why am I still doing this?
Exactly.
And that's the question that we have to ask ourselves is like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
In everything that we do, that's the thing that creates intention. So from that perspective, was there because I mean, cannabis in a lot of circles is also considered a plant medicine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is a plant medicine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so from my perspective, plant medicines are teachers, and our engagement with them, our use of them with some sort of intention is teaching us something.
Yes.
So like, but a lot of people think, okay, well, I'm going to set the intention to learn this and this, right? And then they don't get that very thing, and they're like, well, maybe I don't know why it didn't teach me that. But I mean, in just the story that you've told me so far, cannabis taught you how to be aware of yourself when you're kind of going off the deep end.
Did. And then it taught me the lesson, and I'm like, cool, I'm going to still use you though. Like cannabis was done with me way before I was done with it. Yeah. And like all things, medicines, like I believe that it'll let you know when you're done. Yeah. And so I didn't pay attention to the signs. Fortunately, did pretty good when I got back to East Texas and managed a parts store, worked there for 5 years, and I was high every second of the day. Yeah. At the same time, like I was justifying it with my back pain. Right. Because like my back, I mean, it still hurts now. Like it's never going to go away. Right. But that's what my biggest justification was until it was something else. And then I justified it with something else. And then a couple months, 8 months or so ago, I felt like I was dying. Like it just felt like I was dying. Like something was wrong. It was my lungs, and I had vaped pretty heavily, so I quit vaping and switched to like nicotine pouches. And like I still felt like I was dying, but I was still hitting the dab pen. Like 4, 5, 6 times a day. Right. I'd wake up, hit it, break, I would hit it. I'd get off work, I'd hit it. It just constantly, it never stopped. And so I thought that was the problem. Yeah. So then I quit smoking for a little while, and then I still felt like I was dying. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's time to call a doctor. That's everything I could do to avoid calling a doctor. I hate the VA doctors. So finally call a doctor, let them know what's going on. They do an MRI, chest scans, the whole 9. You're good. And I'm like, but what is this? And she's like, well, when does it happen? I was like, after I eat breakfast and go to work. And she's like, well, what do you eat for breakfast? And I was like, orange juice. She's like, it's acid reflux. I was like, no, it's not. Yeah. There's no way that I could have felt all of this and it'd just be acid reflux. Right. And she's like, no, seriously, I'm going to call you in a prescription. And then my father-in-law was like, here's some Prilosec. I felt so good a week later. Yeah. Dude, everything. I was like, man, I might even start smoking weed. I don't need it. I've already had it. I've not had it this long. I'm good. Right. So then I stopped smoking weed, and that was awesome because I can feel things now. I started dreaming again, and I haven't had dreams in, I can't remember a consistent point in my life where I had consistent dreams. Yeah. But there was a good couple of months where I had some really vivid dreams, and a lot of them were like really beautiful. Some of them were kind of rough, but I could dream again. I was like, well, this is pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, my daily use, my addiction, we'll call it what it is. It was an addiction. People say you can't get addicted to weed. Well, not necessarily, but you can get addicted to the feeling of not feeling.
Well, there's a difference between chemical addiction and like mental addiction. And
it may have been more of a behavioral trait. Because I remember my second wife told me, like when we split up, she looked at me and said, I hope you do more with your life than sitting on the couch smoking weed.
Wow.
And that fucked with me because I was a store manager at the time.
Yeah.
Like I had, my VA was good.
Right.
I was like, I've got everything. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then, I had kids after that. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
This is what she meant.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. It can take from you just as much as it can give to you.
Yes.
But ultimately, you're taking from you or giving to you because you're making the choice to continue or not to continue.
Yes. And it's like there's an extreme like positive and negative. Like, for instance, my first mushroom trip, it showed me life and beauty and glory and like all of the feelings that you were supposed to feel when you gave your life to Christ.
Yeah.
Like that's what it gave me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is amazing. But it also gave me this terrifying fear of death. And it took me a while to deconstruct that it wasn't the mushrooms or the medicine that was going to kill me. It was going to be my behaviors and not listening to my higher self. Like, and it's not like I would have, there's been times where I'm suicidal and just not wanted to go any further. Like there's been those times I made it through those, but if you don't listen to that higher self, like your path will just get cut short. Like maybe that's what it is. It's not.
Well, was it like giving you an insane fear of death, or was it giving you insight into the things that could kill you if you continued them?
And I think that may have been it too. And for some reason, I tied vaping and weed to that. Like those two things, that was it. They're going to kill me somehow.
Yeah.
And then there was like the fentanyl thing that happened where there's fentanyl and everything.
Right.
Children's cereal and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, maybe that's what it's trying to tell me is that if I quit, then I can avoid something like that.
Right.
And whatever the reasoning is, I quit. So for the most part.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for the clarity that it's given me. Mm-hmm. And with all healing, whenever you heal parts of yourself, that's great. You healed it inside, or for the most part, but then your outside changes too. Mm-hmm. And it has to change to reflect how you're feeling on the inside.
Yeah.
And those growing pains.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. That's like the situation I'm in now. Is my current wife and I are separated, and we just have some differences. It is what it is, but it's painful. We wanted a particular life. I had in my mind a particular life that we were going to have, and we're not going to have that anymore. So getting past that has been difficult the last couple weeks, trying to figure out how to move forward. But what's gotten me through that is, aside from the abundance of love that my friends have given me, like I've had people, they've done amazing things the last couple of weeks for me, and I can't thank them enough. But one thing that's helped me is getting quiet, sitting still, and just listening. Listening. And there's, like, I was trying to find a place to stay. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't stay here. And I was looking at apartments, and the idea of an RV came up. Right. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went and I tried to buy a brand new RV. I drove all the way to Dallas, got a check for it from my bank because Navy Federal is not anywhere in East Texas for some reason.
Yeah, got to go to Dallas for that one.
Yeah, so I got the check. I got all the way back to the RV place in Mineola, and I give them the check, and we're getting the paperwork situated. He calls to verify the check. It's the wrong type of check. It's an auto loan, not an RV loan. And I was like, I didn't know there was a difference. The app didn't say there was a difference. So
it's got tires on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, dude. I was like, and when that hit, dude, I was just crushed. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was freaking out. And at the time, I was just like, maybe this is a sign that something else is in the works.
Yeah.
So I get in the car and I'm driving home disappointed. And so I turned the music down and I just, help me out. What am I supposed to be doing? And like clear as day, man, clear as fucking day. It was crazy. It gave me goosebumps. I got them now. A voice was in my head was just like, be patient. I'm working on something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. Like, yeah, it's weird. Goosebumps, dude. Because it was so clear, but I could recognize the voice. It was me. It was an older, more wise version of myself.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. Like the older I get, the more similar that voice sounds to my actual voice. It's weird. It's weird. But from that day, or like when that happened, I drove home, and the next day we get a call from a family friend that's heard about the situation, and they've got a brand new camper that hadn't been touched in 6 years. Like, they bought it, didn't use it. Some unfortunate circumstances happened, but they ended up not using the RV, and it's just been sitting for 6 years.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's what you were working on.
Nice.
Okay, cool. And then we start the process. We get the RV, and I'm living in an RV now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and from what I understand, like, it's not like you and your wife were having like super bad marital problems. It's just different people.
And that's what it was. We're just different people, and we both knew we were different people 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We knew we were different people 4 years ago and 2 years ago. Every step of our life, we knew we were different people, and we kept trying to make it work because like we were really good friends.
Right.
I just don't think we were the best in a relationship.
Yeah. I've heard different perceptions of stuff because we grow up hearing like, oh yeah, you get married and you stay married forever, or you got to find your soulmate, or whatever it is. And I've heard people talk about like, well, and I mean, not just people, but like I've read things where it talks about the difficulty that we as humans have in releasing relationships that I guess no longer serve us, but it's not like no longer serve us because the other person's a bad guy or a bad person. It's like we evolve, we grow, and like, man, I guarantee you, like, I got divorced when I was, I mean, I don't remember how old I was. It was in 2018, I believe, from my first wife, and we were married for 15 years. And like, there is no way in hell that if we were still together today that it would work. Yeah. Because she and I are polar opposites now. And I mean, I don't know a whole lot about her anymore because we don't really communicate, especially since our kids are grown and out of the house and everything. But like, it was so hard for me to let that relationship go, and it broke my heart. But I look back and I'm like, why did I fight so hard to keep that? Yeah. I knew I was miserable. She knew she was miserable. We both it was a literal stay together for the kids kind of thing. Yeah. And now that our kids are adults, they're like, well, we're glad y'all finally did it kind of deal. Because it
can cause a lot of trauma. You can give your kids a lot of trauma if you stay together for the wrong reasons. Yeah. You know? And the idea was brought up that I could just still stay in the house and we could be a family together kind of thing. There's certain aspects of the relationship that we would just be roommates for. Right. And that was difficult for me because I don't want my kids growing up not knowing what like affection is. And like holding hands and not being intimate in front of the kids in a sexual way, but like being close with your partner. Yeah. Cuddling, laying on the couch together and things like that. Right. And now that we're just friends, I can't bring myself to be okay with doing that. Like, it's another mask. It'd be another mask that I was wearing. Pretending to be okay or pretending to like your situation when you really don't. Yeah, and one of the driving factors of me getting out into the RV is I still get to be close to my kids and put them to bed, and I still go and eat dinner with them. I get to do all the things that I wanted to do. Right. It's just at the end of the night when it's supposed to be me and her, now it's just me. Yeah. And it's just her. Yeah. She's got her space and her time to think about whatever she's got. And I've got my time to do what I need. Yeah, cool. So I'm just diving into music a lot more, and it's working out for me. Things that you're passionate about. Yeah, yeah. All right. So when we talk about passion and you're doing the things you're passionate about now, that's something that I'm always talking about is like following your passion in every moment of every day, whatever it is at that moment. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's not only how I've healed, but it's also the result of my healing. It's realizing that I don't have to do a fucking thing that I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't, sure, it makes me selfish to a degree, but it's selfish in such a way that it takes care of me. Yeah. And I prioritize myself. Yeah. And for me, that's healing. But it's also the thing that's responsible for me being successful in loving myself. And every time I do what I want to do versus what I'm expected to do or what the ego or shame says I should do is one more step I take towards my own wholeness. Mm-hmm. And so that's what healing looks like for me. And it includes a lot of different things that I've done over the years, but what's healing for you and what has brought you to today in the version of yourself that you are today? Yeah, man. So for me, healing is breaking the generational trauma. It's trying to do better than you did yesterday, all that kind of cliche stuff that you hear. But healing when it comes to being selfish and finding your passion and things like that, healing looks different depending on the time of your life that you're in. There's a point in time in my life where I looked at nothing but like self-help books and podcasts and things like that. And then I got burnt out. I was like, I'm tired of healing right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, for a lot of people, it's like watching those things, reading the books and stuff like that. It tells you it's like what you need to do, but not how to do it.
Yes.
And I think how changes for every single one of us.
And that's why like going to church can be difficult, because there's a lot of that. Like, you need to do this. You need to do this for Jesus. And like, okay, but how though? How do I do that? Like, give me a real life example, and not just kind of the metaphors that are thrown out there.
Quit watching porn, boy.
Right. Well,
quit smoking the devil's lettuce.
I'm healed. I'm healed. Well, but no, healing looks different depending on where you are in your life. Like right now, healing for me is finding myself again. Finding myself after this 6-year relationship. I found a lot of myself in that 6-year relationship. I also lost a lot of myself too. I sacrificed a lot of parts of myself that I didn't necessarily want to, but I did anyway, because for whatever reason, whether I thought it was the right thing to do or whatever the reasoning is. Now for me, healing is finding that ember and turning it back into a fire. That's what it is. And you got to, depending on where you're looking at, you've got an ember in just about every aspect of your life that you want to heal. For me, there was a point where I didn't care for music too much. I didn't want to play music. And then kind of life falls apart and you're like, well, I remember I had a fire there once.
Right.
Let me dig through those ashes real quick. And I found it, and now it's sparked up and it's going pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, just finding what I want to do with the rest of my life and kind of how I want to do it.
And seeing what's getting in the way.
Yeah, and seeing what's getting in the way.
It's like we can find the ember, right? And we're like, yeah, I'm really fucking passionate about this, and this is what I want to do. But then the voice of shame or ego or whatever is like, yeah, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
You need, that requires money. You don't have money.
Yep.
You don't make enough money, or you're not good enough to make enough money or whatever. And so like, you can know what the ember is, but like never blow on it because of all the bullshit that experience in life has programmed you to believe about yourself. And so how do you get past that? Like, how do you get past any of the thoughts that say that what you're passionate about or what you want to do isn't possible, or that you're not good enough for it?
I think it starts by, some people call it praying, some people call it meditation. It's recognizing that I think it's when it comes to like, when you recognize like, okay, something's got to change. And then, but how do you change? That's what we're talking about. So I think at that point, that's when you can pray, you can meditate, but essentially get still.
Yeah.
Just be quiet. Go somewhere where it's quiet, no distractions, leave your phone in the car. For me, I like going out to the lake, popping out a chair and just looking, but analyze the thoughts that are coming into your head and don't try to ignore them because they're there for a reason. Acknowledge the thoughts, and then let them go.
What has helped you learn to be still, or to like find those moments of stillness where you can, I guess, decipher between the voice, the higher self voice, and the voice of shame or ego or whatever?
Probably just kind of being aware of your emotional state at that point in time.
Yeah.
It'll be really difficult to try to do this if you're super upset and angry about something that happened. Now, if you're super upset and mad and angry, sitting still is definitely going to help you. But it's the sitting still and then having an intention behind why you're sitting still.
Yeah.
For me, it was, what's my next move? And then I sit still and I get quiet and I let my thoughts get cleared, and then things start making sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I think of that, like, it's like my higher mind is finally saying, okay, like these are the options and this is what you can do. Getting to that point is difficult. There's a lot of clouds, especially depending on where you are mentally.
Right.
Well,
I think there's almost, I don't know if it's ego or what it is. And first of all, I see all this stuff online about dismantling or disseminating your ego and destroying your ego, and that your ego is bad. your ego's not bad.
No.
Like your ego is actually been your protector for all of your life. But there comes a point where your ego doesn't get to drive the bus anymore.
Yes.
Because you're ready to drive the bus. The only reason the ego drove the bus in the first place was because it couldn't trust you to.
Yeah.
And so it's once you realize that, then you start moving towards noticing the patterns, that before the ego was like, yeah, it's their fault. They're a piece of shit and they're angry. And that's why this happened. That's why we got divorced, blah, 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 blah. But then when you step back and you look, you start noticing your own patterns. Like, okay, I've been through this many relationships, and in each one of the relationships, it ended because she did this. Okay, but what about you?
For me, for me, I was able, psychedelics kind of put me on that. It gave me that perspective because in my medicine headspace, I see myself, and it's very vivid, in like this whirlpool. Like you've seen the depiction of like the Big Bang. It starts here and it just kind of gets bigger.
Yeah.
That's kind of sort of like, it's like a spiral. And the medicine gave me a chance to step out of that spiral of life and look like, okay, so here's when I notice things are starting to go bad. That's when my mood changes and I start secluding myself from people. And then I go through a phase, I put on some weight, and then I come out of it and I start eating better and drinking less, being more intentional with my marijuana smoking. And then there's something that happens and it puts me back into that spiral of sadness, and it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And now that I've got that perception, like, then it's finding the key indicators that time is coming. And you're like, okay, cool. Here's what I did last time that put me down here. Well, let me just actively make the decisions not to do those things that contributed, because you're going to have bad times. You're going to have bad phases. You're going to have bad periods in your life where things are just not as good as you want them to be. But how much are you contributing on making it worse by the decisions you're making?
Yeah.
And for me, it's definitely alcohol. It's secluding myself from my friends, because that's what I tend to do, because I don't feel like people should be burdened by my issues. And I heard a quote that was like, how dare you rob someone of the gift of letting them help you? And I forget who said it, but I was like, okay, so the homies do need my problems. All right, cool.
Yeah,
like, and I'm the first person to, like, if you've got a problem, like, what is it, man? What's going on? Our lead singer texted us a few days ago to the group chat, and he's like, throughout the day, he was fine, and then there's just one message at the end of it. And he's like, guys, I'm really struggling right now. And instantly, I work from home, I put my headset down, I was like, hey, man, what's going on? What do you got going on? I'll be the first to help somebody out, but I always didn't feel like I was worthy of getting the help. And that's one thing the last couple of weeks showed me, is like, whether I wanted it or not, it's going to happen. Yeah. And it's just, the situation that I'm in, like, we probably should have ended things a lot sooner. Yeah. And now the universe is like, all right, it's time, man. I'm going to have to do it for you.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I'm about to rip this Band-Aid off.
Yeah. It's like, all right. Go ahead. And it's cool because, like, since this has happened, like, I don't feel near as anxious as I used to.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, like, talking about the universe doing it for you, right? I feel like, from my perspective and my experience, the universe will literally do everything for me if I just let it.
Yeah. One let God, baby.
Right. And I say, like, the universe is always conspiring in my favor. Right. And I believe that's true for every single one of us. It's not like I'm special and it's only conspiring in my favor. It's like everyone.
Yeah.
But if you trust that,
yes.
If you trust that the universe is always conspiring in your favor, then even the things that you label bad are conspiring in your favor. Yeah. And so it's like you're going through this thing, but, like, what's it teaching you?
Yeah.
What's on the other side of the thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And the longer you wallow in your misery because the thing's happening, the longer you stay in it.
Yep.
And I mean, years and years can go by and before you're like, why am I still fucking doing this?
Yeah.
And so it's like, for me, I guess, one of the greatest things I've ever done for myself is really put effort and intention into learning to trust that the universe is always conspiring in my favor.
Yeah.
And I add something to that now. If I'm going through a bad time or an uncomfortable time or anything like that, then it's the universe is always conspiring in my favor, even now.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And it's like that ring that this too shall pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good times and bad times.
And you're going to be better for it.
Yeah.
Like, the version of you 2 years from now is going to look back at today's version and be like, bro,
Yeah.
You fucking did it. And like, here you are, like, good job.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. And I know it's coming. And I've already felt a kind of a shift in my personality and kind of how I carry myself. And at the event yesterday, I had people like, you look really good. Like, you look happier.
Dude.
Like,
I feel like the word countenance is like talking about our energy, right? Our aura.
Yeah.
And your countenance is like brighter.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like your energy feels better to be around. And on an energetic level, when two people are around each other, one either, like if they're different vibrations, one either comes down to the vibration of the lower one, or the other one comes up to the one that's vibrating higher. And like, that's what I mean when I say protect your energy, you know, because if you're the one that's consistently going down to the energy of others, well, then that's what energy vampires are.
Yeah.
You're giving away your energy. You're letting someone else's energy influence you. And so I've learned to protect my energy and not let myself, and sometimes that creates awkwardness between friends and stuff because it's like, hey man, I'm up here, come up here with me.
Yes.
And they're like, I don't know how. And I'm like, just come on.
And no, I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that within the healing community. And there's definitely been some guilt on my end that I felt because I didn't feel, I don't want to say worthy, but I didn't want to have to take someone's energy because I knew like whatever I was going through at the time, I knew somebody was going to give me their energy and I didn't want them to have to do that. And then on the other hand of that, I've got my own friends that I can only handle in doses because it's like, man, you are affecting my energy. And it's cool being able to recognize that rather than just falling into it and then conforming to whatever it is that they're doing. Being able to witness and recognize those signs is a wonderful gift. Now, if you choose to use that gift is up to you. That's the work, right?
Yeah.
That's the work that people talk about is after you recognize it, it's integrating what you've recognized into your daily life.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's as simple as quitting a habit or stopping a bad behavior, not using a particular word that, you know, is kind of unfavorable. Sometimes that means changing your entire life, moving, getting a different job, relationship, whatever the case is. It can be as big as you let it be or small as you want it to be.
Right.
But if you just let it, then it'll happen.
In any given interaction, if you happen to be the one with the higher vibration, it's like standing firm in that, not in a I'm better than you or like a judgmental way, but like holding that example. If that makes sense. Like, hey, I'm up here and I know it sucks down there right now, but like, join me.
Yeah.
Like, allow. And if there's sometimes where somebody says like, yeah, if I get this job or if I get this money or and I'll say, when you do.
Yeah.
And that's not a judgment of them saying if. It's a invitation to join me at this vibration because if keeps you in wanting, keeps you in scarcity, keeps you in doubt. When gives you that reinforcement of faith and trust.
It gives you something to look forward to that's more concrete.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm working on getting my VA situated, and I've been trying to use the term like when this gets done or when this gets through, it's going to be awesome. I've got a plan on how I decide to move forward. But if I keep saying like, if this happens, then it's not up to me.
Yeah.
And
it's doubt.
It's not up to me on how it plays out, but I've got a certain amount of contribution that I can give to make sure it happens.
Right. I even say that, you know, when somebody says, I hope this happens, right? From my perspective, hope and doubt are the same frequency because if you hope something happens, you also doubt that it will.
Ooh,
and so that inner knowing is when we switch from if or I hope to I know or when this happens.
And it's like aiming for happiness, like striving for happiness is kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
Because with happiness, there's sadness. With the yin and yang, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. I try to strive for peace and contentment because I can handle chaos. I know I can handle chaos.
Yeah.
I'm not good at handling sadness. So I don't necessarily care to be happy.
Yeah.
I just want peace.
Yeah,
because
I've never heard it that way.
Yeah,
that's
like when I can handle chaos. I've had a lot of it in my life. So I know what it looks like. I know how to walk around it. I know how to avoid it.
You know how to create it too, huh?
I can, yeah. But when it comes to sadness, man, like I don't want to be sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I want happy moments, and I know there'll be sad moments. I hope that with whatever tools that I've got in my toolbox that I'm starting to like sort through, they'll get me through it. And alcohol is not one of those tools. Marijuana can't be one of those tools. sitting with the feelings and recognize the emotion and then accept the emotion. Man, we're humans, bro. We feel like
Raina and I have, we pretty much stopped drinking. Like when I met her, I had stopped drinking and I hadn't drank for like 2 years. And then she drank a little bit and it was a big problem, you know, for our relationship for a while. It was a point of contention. We'll put it that way. And so after a while, she quit too. And so then we both quit and we stayed not drinking at all for, I don't know, a long time.
Yeah.
And then it was just like on this last cruise that we went on, we had booked this thing called Chef's Table. And we knew it was a six course meal, but we didn't also know that they pair a glass of wine with each course. And so when they start bringing out the wine, I'm like, oh shit, we don't drink. Like, and then I looked at her and I was like, hey, I was like, let's drink the wine tonight. And I said, and let's drink it with the intention of having a great time. And then after we're done, we'll go up to the room and have some badass sex too. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And dude, we got toasted because it was like 6 courses and 6 glasses of wine.
Yeah,
and
after not drinking for so long.
Yeah, dude, we had the best time ever. And there was no like, I didn't wake up with a hangover or anything like that. And I think the hangover part is because like my body chemically is completely different. I mean, based on the way I eat and the stuff I would put in my body and stuff like that, like I take way better care of myself than I used to.
It can process it a little bit better than it used to.
Yeah. And so like, we were like, that was amazing. So we booked it 2 more times on that 7-night cruise. And that's actually one of the things we're looking forward to on our next cruise.
Yeah.
But the beauty here is we didn't come back and start a new habit.
Yeah, exactly.
We enjoyed it, set intention with it, had a blast, and
it'll be there when you get back.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's how I view weed now. That's how it is for me now. Yeah, I don't care to smoke by myself, but if we're out and about and hanging out, we got a fire going or something like that. Yeah, because for me, it doesn't. For a while there, how I knew weed was done with me is because I just get super bad anxiety. Yeah. And I've heard about people getting anxiety.
Yeah, that's what it's happened to me too.
Never happened to me until that was it telling me it was done. Like, hey, you need to start feeling your shit because time's running out.
Even then, like for a little while, I was like, well, maybe that anxiety that I feel is cannabis teaching me or highlighting the things that I fear the most. Because the anxiety was always around, what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that. And in being sober minded, like those are the things that are like the little sneaky negative concepts in my head, if you will. And so it's like, if in the back of my head, I'm like, what if all of my clients leave at once and I don't have any money anymore, you know? And like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but like,
not gonna happen.
Then I take cannabis and then that gets louder.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, all your clients are going to leave. You're not going to have anything. And I'm like, oh shit. And so like, it's like a double-edged sword. It's like maybe it is highlighting those fears and that's things I need to work through. And it's highlighting the places where I'm still scarcity minded or something like that. But you know, do I need to continue to intensify that over and over again? Fuck, no, one time is enough. And then I'll be like, okay, this is something I need to work on. Let's get it worked on.
Yeah. And then if you smoke weed on a regular basis, fine. That's not a big deal. Yeah. But I just say pay attention to where that teeter is between where it's all negative after you smoke, or if you can smoke and then enjoy yourself. Like that's where like that's what I'm jealous of. People who they're always in a good mood when they smoke. And you can see it like on TikTok, the guys that, well, that is TikTok though. Like, that's a whole other, 23 hours out of the day. Well, they could be sad or whatever the case is.
Well, and it's saying a lot of, that could be masking too. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like I noticed, and I don't know if you did this with weed or alcohol, but it's like after I quit drinking, it's like for a little while I demonized alcohol. Like it was this bad, terrible thing.
Yeah, and I still do that on occasion.
And I don't think necessarily it's good for you, like physically, your physical body and everything, especially if you're doing it in excess all the time or every day or whatever. Yeah. But like, it's like I demonized it, like, oh, that's a bad substance and no one should ever use that. And there's still parts of me that feel that way. But like, I've also come to terms with like, and it's not just moderation, it's moderation plus intention.
Yes. Like for me, I only want to drink if I've got a juicy steak in front of me and friends at this point. I don't want to drink alone. Now, at the same time, one of my pastimes is playing PC games. We've got a Discord server, and we're all in there just having a good time. And a lot of the guys do drink, and they get drunk on Discord. And yeah, I don't mind drinking a little bit, doing that. It's just that can't be every night.
Right.
It's got to be twice a month kind of thing,
right.
if that. But what I've noticed is just the last couple weeks that all of this has happened is I'll drink a night, I'll drink the next night, I'll drink the night after, and it's like I'm feeling like ass for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, it's time to stop doing that.
Right.
And there's been plenty of moments in my life where those are those signs that I was talking about, the downfall, where you're kind of falling into the sadness again.
Yeah.
Those are those contributions that you give consciously that are hurting you. And when I don't want to say it's just as easy to not drink, because for some people it's not that easy.
Right.
They need it for whatever reason. But for me, I feel the best when I'm 2 beers deep, got a steak, and I feel great. I feel good. But I mean, I don't think it's quite for me anymore.
Yeah.
Same thing with marijuana.
That's wisdom. It's like the wisdom is the ability to make those determinations. Like, this isn't serving me, so I'm not going to do it anymore. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that for somebody else, like, we can't project that onto people.
Yeah. No.
I can't say that because alcohol doesn't serve me well, that it's not going to serve anyone well, and no one should ever do it.
Yeah.
Because
it definitely has a purpose. It's just up to you to determine when that purpose is over.
Right.
It's up to you to recognize when that purpose is done. It's up to you when that, or it'll tell you when it's done. And that might look like liver disease.
Well, I think of it too, like from a vibration standpoint. If like, let's say alcohol vibrates at a specific vibration, right? And when you're drinking every day, you're also vibrating at that specific vibration, right? And it's just like the lift up or bring down thing. When your vibration rises and you evolve and you become more aware of yourself and you feel better and stuff like that, you can look back and be like, you know what? I'm not going to engage with alcohol in the same way I did before because I'm no longer vibrating at that frequency. Yeah. And choosing something else. And I think that's really what it is when we say that alcohol's done with us, or weed's done with us, or plant medicine's done with us. It's done teaching us because we've learned whatever we needed to learn to raise that vibration and no longer need that substance to help us raise that vibration.
It's a ton of teachers, man. And it's just up to you to listen to them. And when you find that point in your life where you can listen to the teacher and actually pay attention to what's being said and act on it, that's when your life starts getting better. Yeah. And not to say it's not going to get worse at some point, because it will. It's
the ebb and flow, baby.
Yeah, dude. It's just how it is. But, you can only control you and your decisions, your actions, reactions. So you got to get a handle on that first. Yeah. So
one of the latest aspects of the relationship that Travis and I share is that he's one of the co-facilitators at the Sacred Ember. And the Sacred Ember, if you don't know what it is, it's men's and women's retreats. We do them separately, where we do breath work, meditation, ice bath, sweat lodge, and then we typically have a couple hours of like inner work processes there, whether it's like lessons, like specific teachings, shadow work. But when I was creating the team of facilitators that was going to help me put these events on, my main criteria was that I wanted authentic people. I wanted people that weren't afraid to expose themselves and be vulnerable in order to hold space for other people, and people who would be able to hold space for other people and without judgment or condemnation or anything like that. And Travis is one of those people that I picked. And so I just wanted you to share a little bit on your end of being a co-facilitator at Sacred Ember, and not only what it does, what you see it doing for other people, but what it does for you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one, I was honored when you asked me, and then there was the, am I good enough for this? There's definitely that voice. And
dude, I have that voice too, right? Man.
Cool, I'm not the only one, man. No, man, it's the first event that we did when we were doing the test run, and it was just us 5, was beautiful. It was awesome. Like, I don't think I had done like one ice bath before that. And the sweat lodge, I think I'd only done one sweat lodge at that point. I didn't really know what meditation and breath work was. I know we had done it in session a few times, but almost like when you paid for me to go to that Jesus trip back in the day, everybody was speaking tongues and they're like, if you just let go, it'll happen. And I'm like, this is weird. Like I'm not feeling it. Is there something wrong with me? I'd try to do like breath work and meditation. And then I'd realize that like, I was like, is there something wrong with me? Am I not doing it right? But
by the way, that's what I mean when I say that the universe is conspiring in your favor, but sometimes you just got to get the fuck out of your own way.
Yeah. And that's what it was, man. And like actually yesterday was one of the first like breath works that I did where I didn't have like a profound experience. I've done breath work where I had like a really profound experience, but like that one yesterday was the easiest one I've done. Like where I got something out of it and I didn't have to just have that ego driven, like deeper breath, you got to go. And no, I was just like, I'm just going to do what I can and just not worry about it. And that was so peaceful, man. Like it was so peaceful just being out there under the trees. It was nice. But no, for like what I get out of it, I enjoy that moment when like you said, like, enjoy people, like seeing people cry. I enjoy seeing those walls come down. I enjoyed that even back when I was trying to get people to come to church. When I'd see them, like the people that I'd bring to church, they'd have like a breakdown while I was on set playing bass. And I'm like, yes, they're getting it. They're getting it. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And I love when people have those moments of healing. But for me, what it gives me is tools in my toolbox. It gives me that. It gives me experiences with authentic people. It gives me perspective because I've gotten to sit with people younger than me and people older than me.
Yeah.
And all of our stories are the same.
Yeah.
Like they're all the same. Like
I think that's the beauty. Like that's one of the primary reasons for this podcast at all is like, I want people to hear the stories of other people because then you know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
And at Sacred Ember, we're trying to build a community of people who lean on each other, who see each other, who hold space for each other.
Exactly.
Because like for every person there that hears your story and you hear their story and they're able to be vulnerable and express themselves and talk about their struggles and talk about their wins.
Yeah.
Like it gives you that much more confidence in your own struggles and wins and knowing that
for sure
you're out there just like everybody else, just trying to create the best life you can.
Yeah. And when everyone realizes that it's our first life and we're just trying to figure it out and have a little bit of grace for each other. Like, that's really all it takes. Just have a little bit of grace, a little bit of patience, and just things will come. Yeah. And that's what I've learned doing this event. And it's awesome. And yeah, there's work you got to put in. It's like, there's still that, it's breathwork time. Dang, I got to go actually do something now. Every time though, like I'll lay down and I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go hard this time.
Yeah.
Or like, no, I'm gonna do good. I'm good this time. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I would say like round 1 and 2 of breath work it feels like a chore. It's hard to get through, but like once you get into round 3, you're like, oh yeah, this is why I do this.
That's what I keep pushing, and it's Raina's food.
Yeah.
That's what I should have led with. I should have led with that.
Well, I heard you last night and you were like, Raina's cooking is the only reason I come to these things. It's the reason I look forward to it.
Yeah, her cooking certainly gets me through. Like, I don't know if it's good enough to get me through an ice bath again yet.
No. Well, if y'all haven't heard, Raina's food is top notch, and she makes everything from scratch and natural and organic
and I don't
and all those things.
understand how it gets better every time we do it. I don't get it. But like, I'll be in the sweat lodge, just pouring sweat, beating the drum. I'm like, oh, that chili though.
Yeah.
Like motivation.
Would you believe it if I told you that like what she made last night, she made it last Friday, right? She asked me what I want. And for whatever reason, and I don't know if I'm saying the word correctly, but minestrone soup. I remember having an MRE when I was in the Marine Corps that was minestrone. And I was like, and that was actually one of the more favorable MREs.
Yeah.
They weren't all great, but some of them were okay.
Chili mac was always my go-to.
Yeah. But I told her, I was like, yeah, do you think you could make like a minestrone soup? And she's like, yeah. She's like, it usually has noodles in it. And I was like, yeah, well, let's put quinoa in there instead of the noodles. And she's like, okay. She's like, you want Italian sausage in it? I was like, yeah. So she goes home, dude, goes to the grocery store real quick, goes home, whips this thing up. No recipe, no nothing. And freaking smacks, dude. Like, I mean, I told her as I was eating, I was like, this is probably one of the top 3 easily things you've ever made. Like, this is amazing. And she's like, okay. And so then later in the week when she's like, hey, what do you think I should make for the women's retreat? And I was like, that soup, the minestrone soup. And she's like,
good call.
Okay. So that's literally the second time she's ever made it. And she doesn't have a recipe or nothing. She just throws whatever feels good into it. And it like heals my soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know that her food is amazing. And then the pecan pie drop cake. Oh, that was.
Yeah. And she made freaking fresh sourdough bread that was like amazing.
It was definitely worth the wait.
Yeah, she was running a little late on that, like 45 minutes late when we were supposed to eat. And I walked out there and I was like, hey, so Marina said the bread's not going to be done for like 45 minutes, but the soup's already ready, so y'all can go ahead and eat, or you can wait for the bread. And like,
and we all had the same idea.
Yeah, nobody got up.
Nope. Like, nah, we're waiting. Like, we're good. We're gonna wait for the bread, man. That's the staple.
And it was worth the wait.
Yeah. No, it was definitely good.
Well, brother, I am so happy to have you, and this has been a wonderful experience. Oh, yeah. And I'm sure this won't be the last time.
Hope not.
But that's it, y'all. That's the Inner Alchemy. This is episode 2, and we got a lot more coming with a lot of good stuff like we had today. So thanks, Travis. I love you, man.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
All right, buddy. I love you.
Love you, man.
See you next time.